Jabal, how are you doing? Hey, in this video, how to create your personal development plan for the next 12 months. So why 12 months? Well, that's exactly what we're going to discuss in this video. And also I will show you where you can get like a template, or at least like it's actually a presentation that explains this template on how to, develop your personal development plan for the next 12 months. But first of all, let me quickly show you where you can find this presentation and this template that is going to help you, of course, to grow as a human being, which can help you to, really to find your purpose in life. May sound a little bit weird, but here's what I mean with that. You might have a job, but if you have a job, you want to step it up to a career where you can maybe climb a ladder, right? But then eventually you realize, hey, but did I put my ladder against the right wall for me, or is it the wrong wall for me? Do I still get my satisfaction and fulfillment out of this career? Then maybe you want to move from a career into a business, and maybe then eventually, when you have your business and you work like ridiculous amounts of hours in order to make stuff happen, you feel a little bit burnt out, maybe stressed, maybe anxious. Then you're like, wait a minute, I want to work on something that is bigger than myself. So then you might ask yourself, hey, what could be this type of purpose where I feel like, I don't have to work for my own needs anymore, but I work on something that is much bigger than myself. So that's what you can realize by creating like a personal development plan, what I'm talking about. So there is a link below this video where you can, of course, get access to this template, which you can discover in this presentation. But let me quickly share with you what you're going to learn in this presentation. First, it's all about intention setting, right? Like setting your intention, what you want to get out of this presentation. For me, it was like the first thing that I got is like, I need to learn to trust myself more. I need to trust the process that I'm creating. I need to trust, what I want to get out, and of course what is coming back to me. And my mind is always like, hey, do I get enough the things in return, right? So I need to get a little bit more out of my mind and learning to trust and allow things to happen. Well, of course, making things happen. Another big realization I got out of it is that, we often go through a lot of struggle or maybe suffering, or we go through losses or pain and that kind of thing. Like, maybe we have a business or a career and, things are not going our way like we are planning. So always the biggest question, like, wait a minute, the biggest question we need to ask ourselves, did I learn something from it? Did I grow from it? Which is actually, of course, one of the most important realizations that we need to become aware of. So there are two ways of growing. The first one is through the hardship, the pain and the suffering, and the other one is through deep insight, when you actually do your take actually a few steps back in order to step up. And there are two very interesting names for that, which are coming from Michael Beckwith, which of course is what you're going to learn in this presentation. So this personal development plan or presentation goes about three main key elements in order for personal transformation. But the first one has a lot to do with yourself, right? That we actually need to focus more on our own personal growth and development. Like, everything that we are trying to accomplish, everything that we're trying to realize or bring to the world, it's nothing more than a vehicle for our own personal growth and development, right? Maybe you are in a career, maybe you have a job, maybe you have your own business. Then all of that is more like, hey, how can I grow as a human being from constantly learning and developing new insights. The second thing we really need to develop is about unity and working together with others. Of course, that is also like, hey, everybody is like a mirror for each other, right? Like everybody we attract on our path, they are always there to to remind us about something, right? Maybe it's a struggle, or maybe it's someone that can uplift us. But through collaboration, that is really where the true personal growth and development kicks in. Another key element, it's really about learning to visualize what it is that you want to create for yourself and for the upcoming 12 months and beyond. Do you want to step up your career, or do you want to create your own business? Do you want to become an artist, or do you envision something else? So that is really about bringing things really forward into the world. Because here's the thing, when we go through personal development, if we think about law of attraction, that sort of things, it really talks about, visualization and then focus on outcomes. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We want to manifest something, we want to get a result, an outcome. And then we often ask ourselves, okay, so what do I need to do? Or how does it work in order to get to this outcome? And maybe we can even take it a step further and really fuel our activities with a why, right? Like why, what are my intentions? Why do I want this? But actually there's like one more step that goes a little bit further, which is of course also what you're going to learn in this presentation. What we really must change in order to give reason to this why, and to fuel these activities that has to be done in order to get to these outcomes, which I found is like very important. One of the biggest things I learned in this presentation, and I don't want to give everything away, but that's one of the things that you really must master. Now, there are quite a few more things that I would love to share with you in this video, but actually I'm not really sure if I can, because otherwise, there's no more reason for you to actually follow this presentation, because there are more things like, the type of questions you need to ask yourself constantly, in order to grow constantly for yourself on a daily basis. There's also like a question that can help you to step above your own, egocentric needs for, like my needs or my things for safety, security, and that can help you really to step above something that can, it's like an instant shift into, connecting with a purpose or a cause or a mission. It's also about, bringing two of your different kind of energies or personalities in one. So bring more unity within yourself by mastering various parts of the brain, which is of course also what you're going to learn in this personal development plan. Now, personal development and personal growth is awesome, of course, which is like really like, what the tip of the iceberg, what is basically like, everything that's happening underneath the surface of the iceberg, and everything that you realize and manifest is basically just the tip of the iceberg. But just focusing on only personal growth and development also has a shadow side, which is also what you're going to learn in this presentation. You're also going to learn about self-fueled goals. So these are like very small little goals. We always think about gigantic goals and everything that where you need to think big and big realizations and manifestations, which can cause sometimes a lot of stress. But self-fueled goals is something that you can already start realizing without doing anything, right? And that's really is getting you into the right state of mind in order to to fuel your activities. And one of the last things that is about, the 50-50 rule by Google. And what this 50-50 rule is of course, is what you're going to learn in this, personal development plan and template presentation and stuff like that. So with no further ado, if you really want to, create a new type of personal development plan for yourself, because again, you can take a course, you can take a workshop, you can learn something for yourself, maybe once every 6 months, but you grow a little bit and then you fall back to your old habits, and then you grow a little bit, you fall back to your old habits. And what you want is, of course, is constantly new type of personal growth, and that's why this plan that you must learn for the upcoming 12 months. So with no further ado, just go ahead, click the link below this video, and I'm very curious what you're going to learn from this free presentation. Paul here, see you in one of my next videos. Take care for now, bye bye.